Welcome back to DXB Today, where we are talking everything beverage in the UAE, one of my favorite subjects. We've had some wonderful guests and it still continues to go on. Now, we have Emirati Coffee. It was established in 2017 and they were the first Emirati homegrown specialty coffee roastery, importing specialty coffee from all over the world, producing the amazing beans here in the region. And now we have the CEO live in the studio, Mr. Mohamed Ali Almadfai. Thank you for being here, sir.
Thank you for having me.
So good seeing you again, actually.
Yes, it's always good.
Now, one of my favorite locations that you have, tell me what's been happening so far, because I haven't been for a while. There's been so many other places opened up, so I've got to try some other places, but you've been there, a staple in the region for a while now, so what's been happening?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me again. And it's exciting times for coffee all around the world. The commodity markets are, I would say, seeing a lot of, it's a bullish market. So there's a lot of money to be made in coffee on both sides, from the commodity market, but also front-facing in terms of retail and shops and so on. So there's a lot of innovation, there's a lot of dynamics that are being, and more attention, and consumers are more going towards, I would say, coffee other than other beverages right now.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We were asking Courtney earlier about what makes cafes stand out, what makes beverage places stand out, what makes Emirati Coffee stand out?
So the way I always describe our company to people is that we're the chicken farm to the McDonald's.
Okay.
So we don't really compete on experience, because that's another ball game on its own. So we supply over 200 brands in the UAE, and we provide them with a sustainable product that they know their customers would know what to expect and to look for, and leave the experience on them, because the beverage world or the coffee world is not only about what's in the cup now, it's about the wholesome experience a customer would get when he enters a cafe.
We've talked about just, again, that spotlight that's going on in Dubai. How do you think kind of the world now is looking at Dubai as a place where consumers can find, or you're growing things in the specialty coffee kind of industry?
So I've traveled a lot of places around the world, origins is particularly, like places where they grow coffee. So we don't say country, we say origin. And obviously producing countries are not usually the consuming countries. So I've been to a lot of consuming countries to see what are the latest trends, what's happening around the market. I came 2 days ago from Shanghai. So China is a market that is growing 30% year on year in terms of consumption of coffee. They're changing from a tea culture to a coffee culture. And it's safe to say that there is no country or there is no region like our region right now when it comes to the development of the culture of the coffee shops and how people consume coffee, and we're light years ahead. They do follow an international standard, but I would say due to the sheer size of their markets, they're not really forced to become competitive and offer a very unique experience that our cafes here should offer.
Mohamed, I'm glad that you mentioned that we are light years ahead, but it's also important, I think, for us to go back and appreciate the roots. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the UNESCO recognized the way that Emirati coffee is served, like the whole ritual around it, right? How important is it for you to keep tradition as we move forward when it comes to, like, say, serving coffee?
I would say what made the region develop faster than other regions is because coffee is already integrated within the culture.
Yeah, got more energy.
So exactly. So people would go out, instead of going to the pub, they would go to a coffee shop. And what people are looking for now is they're looking for experience, which is deeply rooted in the region, where the whole experience of having coffee in the region here is surrounded around community, surrounded around storytelling, preparing the coffee in a certain ritual, very similar to, for example, the tea rituals that are in Japan or in Southeast Asia. So that appreciation for the beverage and the way I would say it's being, the care taken towards serving it, allowed us to align and adapt, I would say, global standards into that ritual and deep heritage in the region.
Mohamed, I do have to ask, I'm an Arab, I'm a Jordanian, and we love coffee too. And the way we usually have coffee is Turkish coffee, very, very strong, very almost grainy. And the traditional coffee that you would pour for guests. Is that similar to the Emirati coffee, or is there something specific to the Emirates that people need to try?
So I want to clear a couple of misconceptions. Educate our viewers on I would say the different beverages in coffee. So the bean is one. So there isn't a certain bean for, like, I would say Turkish or Arabic or espresso or filter. It's one bean. Certain beverages people would prefer to drink the bean at a lesser I would say roasting degree. Some at a higher roasting degree, some darker. It's like, for example, your steak. You like your steak rare, or you like your steak well done. So typically, when it comes to the correct name for Turkish coffee is ibriq, which is the tool that is made it from. But a lot of the Turks will say it's Turkish coffee, the Greek will say it's Greek coffee, the Lebanese say Lebanese coffee, but it's technically made with an ibriq on sand. And it's, believe it or not, is the best method to brew coffee, because it's the only brewing method that you can control the temperature throughout the whole brewing process, because you can raise the coffee up and down from the heat, so therefore you can control and balance the temperature. But unfortunately, traditionally, the worst beans that are the leftover and roasted really dark to hide the defects are what's consumed in the ibriq coffee. The beverage is named after the way it's prepared. So if it's prepared in an espresso machine, it's called espresso. Prepared in a V60 carafe, it will be called a V60. Prepared in ibriq, it will be called Turkish or Lebanese and so on. But the bean itself is just the method of preparation that gives the name to the coffee.
So is there anything at the moment that you're thinking about introducing to Emirati coffee? I literally had an amazing V60 yesterday, Colombian, incredible. But I've also been having a lot of Nepalese beans recently, and they've been really interesting. So anything new introductions to Emirati coffee?
So right now the trend, I would say, for coffees is people are looking for infused coffees. So infused coffees are coffees that are being processed at origin with fermented in tanks with added natural flavors, like any kind of fruits. So the character of these fruits or flowers or whatever flavors that are natural flavors added in the fermentation tank would diffuse into the coffee itself, which gives it, these notes. And that's, I would say, the trend right now in the UAE of people, looking for these coffees that would taste way more exotic than your traditionally processed coffees.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much, man, for being here. It's been wonderful to see you again and having you here. Courtney as well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's great to see you again.
I learned so much today. Genuinely, this is fast. I wanted to take notes.
This is what the show's for, right? We're educating each other, we're educating our viewers, it's all good. But I am disappointed a little bit because nobody bought any sort of beverage here at all.
You did say at the start.
And I'm not blaming any of our guest co-hosts or our I'm blaming the management, man. We need to work this out.
Yes,
right?
next time we need to bring in some sand, we need to bring in some fire
Yes.
and a brick.
Yes.
So Lane can have his coffee.
Absolutely. Agree
All
with
of
that.
us can have coffee.
100%.
But no, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. But stick around, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we have the wonderful Nick Pritchard in the house doing what he does amazingly well, and that's sing us a lovely song.